Okay. Itamaksishchiko, good day. It is the afternoon of Tuesday, December 26, 2017. In the lunar cycle Misamiko Komiato, it's the long night's moon. And I'm here at Spopikimi in true Canadian fashion. Our wetlands has been converted into a hockey rink. And I'm just out for a little hike. It's cold today. In fact, I waited most of the day for it to warm up. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon now, the hottest part of the day, and we're at 24 degrees below zero. So in these temperatures, my camera battery doesn't last long. And in fact, like, the whole thing shuts down quite often, so I can't keep it out and exposed for very long. When I walk around, I have it against my skin, under my shirt, under my jacket, you know, tucked up in there to try to keep it warm, so that I'll be able to film anything that's interesting, but we'll see what happens. I'm gonna hike today up to the area where I saw a potential coyote den maybe 4 or 5 days ago that I identified. Now that the snow's been here a little bit, should be able to tell whether or not there's any animals moving in and out of there. And yeah, other than that, just getting out for some fresh air, stretch my legs, see what's shaking. So yeah, let's check it out on this cold day. Okay, so probably not gonna be able to show it because they're hunkered down, but just out here in the kind of south marsh area amongst the reeds, I just saw 2 couples, males and females, of ringneck pheasants fly from the bullberry and currant patch over to here, land and hunker down. They were flying in response to me walking past that area over there, so they came out here, and no doubt they're just laid down flat, very camouflage, and it's really not going to be possible, I don't think, for us to see them unless I was to be an asshole and go down there and flush them out. But they don't need to be expending a lot of their energy running away uselessly from me in this kind of cold. So I'm just going to let them be. But it is important to note that there were 2 couples, males and female, that flew out. Now, this is the first point in the year, in the winter here, that I've seen them together like that as couples. Mostly I've been seeing males with males, females with females. So I don't know that I've ever noted this shift before during the winter, and I'm gonna keep looking for it today if I encounter more today and in the coming weeks, if I encounter more pheasants, to see if they're all together as couples right now. But it could very well be that this is the time when they start expressing that bond. Crazy. Check this out. Here's my suspected coyote den, and there's just steam rising out of it. I'm close. Just start closing the gap as I talk here. I don't see any prints from where I'm standing leading in or out of it, which makes me wonder what's going on. I mean, there is another potential explanation, which is that there's a hot spot where there's old coal slag and stuff from the coal mines that might still be burning underground. That's a possibility. Yeah, it's just absolutely steaming. You can see the crystal formations all around the edges here. Probably there's a family of something in there, but it's interesting because there's no prints, right? So coyotes, they'll still be out and about, you know, running around this kind of temperature. There are some prints here. These belong to deer. So this is not a coyote, but something's going on under the ground here. I don't know quite what. I'm gonna have to kind of look around a little bit while I tuck my camera back in to my shirt and my my hands, and gloved hands at that, back into my pockets because my fingers are freezing. There's the deer right there. Just noticed them. Just going up onto the Coulee's rim. 5 mule deer. They might be the same ones as I saw in the Owlwood the other day when I came out here and found this coyote den, or this, I don't know if it's a coyote den, but man, that's weird that it's steaming like this. So I've looked around a little bit for any alternate entrances if this is a den, and I don't find any. And with no prints around it, it's hard for me to believe that that's what's going on. Thought this was interesting. Looking from here, this is the nearest of the old coal mine entrances right down there. That old shaft. So we are very near some of the old coal work, of course. And in fact, I think, you know, pretty much this whole side of the river, there was plenty of mines and stuff. So that's my guess right now, is that the heat is coming from that old coal slag underground, which, as I understand it, even though we're like a century past that point, I understand that it's still kind of slowly burning under there. So that could be what this heat is that's rising here and turning this steam. Yeah, I'm down below now. Here is the coal mine shaft. It's all boarded up, by the way. Otherwise you would have seen me explore it before, for sure. Up here, see if I can find it in the view master. They're right in here, I think, is where the steam is rising. Yeah. And to me, that whole kind of area, just all in there, that kind of shelf there, to me that looks like a deposit that's man-made. Doesn't look like, you know, the Coulee's proper. If I look at other areas of the Coulee's, other slopes and stuff, to me that looks like it's all soil there that's been dumped. And so I wouldn't doubt if that steam is coming from some of that still smoldering slag. Don't know why I never noticed it in prior years, but I think that's what's going on. Can't say for sure, but yeah, if it was coyotes, there'd have been tracks in and out of there, because the snow has been there for days. I mean, they might have, if it was just today, they might have got too cold or something like that and decided just to hunker down for a little bit. But snow's been here several days now, so they'd have for sure come out hunting. You know, they don't go without hunting for a day. So yeah, it's my guess. It's a juvenile bald eagle passing by. Continuing along my route here. River has closed up considerably from what it was, you know, bird count day, maybe 8-9 days ago. That's a steamy scene down there as well. The warmth of the water and the goose clans lined up right on the ice's edge. Okay, on another potentially important note, I'm here on that trail just south of the high level bridge. And when I passed through here the other day, I noted how one of my students and I had come across a neonate bull snake just here on the trail at the end of summer, and how that meant that for sure up here along the Coulee edge or along the Coulee shelves somewhere up here, there is a bull snake hibernacular winter den. Now, that day I had just found that hole in the ground that I was hypothesizing could be a coyote den. Now we've limited, you know, we've cut that out of the of the possibilities, and I'm way more lean toward the idea that there's smoldering coal slag underground that's causing that heat in that hole. But that is actually all the more reason to suspect it's a good area for a snake den. I remember that day I had been trailing a mule deer, and I saw this one area that it crossed. It took some really large bounds, some leaps to get across, and I thought, well, maybe that's where the snake den is, and it may be. But seeing that steam come out of that hole just reminds me that, you know, this is a very good snake den area if there is still smoldering and some heat underground like that. Just like we see with the University of Lethbridge at the 6th level University Hall out on the east side of the building. They got the mechanical rooms down at the 4th level that send out the steam through those stacks at the 6th level, and everything is so warm there, and that's exactly where the rattlesnakes den up, right? They want to be by that warmth and that steam. I imagine if there's anywhere underground up here where there's still a lot of warmth being retained from the old coal endeavors, that's going to be Sorry about that last take. Camera got too cold and cut out. I've now warmed it back up, maybe 10 minutes in my shirt, so it won't last long. It's a golden-eyed duck here, hanging out as usual with a good-sized clan of geese. This end of this open crag, still pretty good open crag on this part of the river. Going all the way up this way, you know, one thing that's pretty clear is that these animals, like the bull snakes, like these geese and ducks and such, they're taking advantage of warmth in the environment that we've really created. And you know, that's just across the board. A lot of species are adapting to the environments that we are creating and the changes that we're making in the natural environment. So it's kind of neat to see, you know, all these geese wintering here. They wouldn't winter here if it wasn't for the fact that we send wastewater into the river that's warm, that keeps these pockets open. And of course the bull snakes would have to winter here, and the rattlesnakes, but obviously they're going to prefer going to somewhere in the coulees to do that, where there's warmth still in the ground, either from the coal slag or from things like the steam vents at the University of Lethbridge. It's pretty neat, even out here in the so-called natural areas, nature parks and such. Really, a lot of what we're seeing is animals, other species that are adapting to living with us. And not that they haven't lived with humans for a long time, they have, but not this culture of humans, you know? So, I don't know, I find it pretty cool to observe. Heading into the forest main now. I'm gonna tuck my camera back away. Yeah, just following up on that question from the other day I had about what are the deer eating down in the forest right now. There's a lot of deer tracks down here in the forest main, so I'm kind of looking as I start my way in, and already I'm finding answers to some of these questions. There's a set of tracks going along the main trail here, and one deer kind of shoots off this way. Now right here is a brome, a stem of brome grass with the tip clipped off of it. And as we move along here, there's another stem with the tip clipped off, following right along the footprints. There's at least a couple more brome stems this way with the tips cut off. Also have, this is the tall goldenrod, what I thought I saw them eating, one of the plants that I thought I saw them eating the other day, tip clipped off. Same here, tip clipped off. Same here, and there's a couple of more. So I think seems pretty clear that they are munching the tips of some of the tall goldenrod, and it looks like the seed heads, the grass heads from some of the brome. But I'll keep looking as we go along. So this is what a tall goldenrod stem should look like from this year, right? For one of the ones that flowered this year. And this is a whole patch of tall goldenrods in here. But the deer have visited. Every one of the flower heads has been clipped off. Every one of them. So that's for sure. That's for sure now one of the plants that I know these deer are making use of. They are eating the old flower heads off of this year's tall goldenrods. This place is of course associated with the old coal works. Sun's going down. I think that's about it for me today. It's been quick, but it's been very fruitful in terms of answering some of the questions that I came up with last week. Now I need to develop some more questions. But yeah, I'm glad I came out today, and even though I didn't see a lot of wildlife, you know, a few deer, some geese, juvenile bald eagle, golden-eyed duck. Guess it wasn't too bad for wildlife. But all the same, pretty quick, but I feel like it was worth it. And I learned a lot in a very short amount of time. So off I go, and probably be back in a few days to do another round.